Hello everyone, and welcome to another day of He Said, She Said Mad Libs on the campaign trail. Probably the craziest thing about this story is the AP setting the record straight. Like they did with the White House trying to edit official transcripts to make it look like Biden didn't call Trump supporters garbage. And like ABC debunked Kamala's claims that Trump danced on stage in a fit of dementia during a rally last month. Weird things are afoot, my friends, and I know that weird is the cool new buzzword the mainstream media is using to describe conservatives, but factual reporting has been out of the ordinary for quite some time, so the fact that we're suddenly seeing it, well, I don't exactly know what to do with it. And don't worry, it's not everybody, it's just a handful of people trying to actually be genuine for once. Anyway, before I tell you about how the rest of the mainstream media is lying about Trump announcing his plans to execute his political opponents, this video is brought to you by Blackout Coffee Company. Blackout is a family-owned and operated coffee roaster based in sunny Florida and built on traditional values. They have been a supporter of this channel for a long time and have supported your Second Amendment rights for even longer. They have amazing coffees, teas, and hot chocolate, and even have specialty partner roasts that donate directly to some of your favorite gun rights groups. So to get a cup of coffee, tea, or again, hot chocolate that you can be proud of, go to blackoutcoffee.com/LibertyDoll and use code LibertyDoll, one word, for a one-time 20% discount. This one is pretty simple. In speaking to Tucker Carlson at a rally recently, Trump was speaking about Liz Cheney. The soundbite going around is Trump saying that Liz Cheney should stand with 9 rifles shooting at her, prompting the left to claim that Trump was advocating Cheney be executed by firing squad. I almost didn't even look at this story because if you have an ounce of critical thinking or more than a few brain cells to rub together, that is too outlandish to be true. I wouldn't even believe it if the headline said that Kamala said it or Biden said it. It's the kind of statement that media loves to twist and so, of course, warrants more careful consideration, no matter who it's being attributed to. Nonetheless, headline after headline, like this one, talking about Trump's violent rhetoric, claiming this is evidence that he will be a dictator. We also had Trump fantasizes about putting Liz Cheney in front of firing squad from the Rolling Stone, Trump fantasizes about shooting female rival in the face from the Daily Beast, Trump threatens ex-rep Liz Cheney with execution by firing squad from the New York Daily News. Drudge had all manner of outlandish headlines on it that MSNBC kept up on their morning programs, while all ironically calling for an end to political division. How stunning and brave. Most of these articles link back to this clip posted by Aaron Rupar, who claims to be a journalist. Let's watch.
And I don't blame him for sticking with his daughter, but his daughter's a very dumb individual, very dumb. She's a radical war hawk. Let's put her with a rifle standing there with 9 barrels shooting at her, okay? Let's see how she feels about it. You know, when the guns are trained on her face.
Now, even this clip is a little sus because who sits in front of a firing line while also holding a rifle? If you're going to execute your political enemies, why give them a means to defend themselves? That's not how firing squads or executions typically work. And for some reason, there is an entire group of people not questioning that. Now listen to what happens if we attach the first 8 or so seconds of the clip and the few seconds after.
And Cheney was so, he said, I really want to thank you. He said, now I'm so glad that I actually endorsed you. It's amazing, but that you would do this. And I didn't speak to him about it. But then, you know, go a couple of years forward or go now. And I don't blame him for sticking with his daughter, but his daughter's a very dumb individual, very dumb. She's a radical war hawk. Let's put her with a rifle standing there with 9 barrels shooting at her, okay? Let's see how she feels about it. You know, when the guns are trained on her face. You know, they're all war hawks when they're sitting in Washington in a nice building saying, oh, gee, let's send 10,000 troops right into the mouth of the enemy. But she's a stupid person. And I used to I'd have meetings with a lot of people, and she always wanted to go to war with people.
Now that is a radically different meaning. It goes from a bizarre armed prisoner in front of a firing line to saying it's easy for war hawk politicians to send soldiers to war when it's not their lives or their family lives on the line. That it's easy to send troops out when someone has never experienced the horrors of war themselves. That it's easy for them to forget that these are human lives, despite the fact that a lot of folks in government seem to see them only as pawns on a chessboard. Still, media have latched onto this, spreading the soundbite, forgetting about how Dick Cheney was also a horrible war hawk, suddenly defending the Cheneys because Liz Cheney served on the January 6th witch hunt committee, all including this heroic and brave quote from Cheney herself, also purposefully spreading the doctored quote. This is how dictators destroy free nations. They threaten those who speak against them with death. We cannot entrust our country and our freedom to a petty, vindictive, cruel, unstable man who wants to be a tyrant. I don't like politicians or pundits to begin with, but these people do not seem to have a single honest, genuine bone in their bodies. Of course, they're going to take a quote about how politicians should have to serve in the endless wars they promote and spin it into a call to execute political opponents. Because why wouldn't they? And of course, in this time of Twitter and TikTok 10-second sound bites, people are going to listen to that cut clip and believe it. Because for some reason, they don't think that the media or government could ever lie to them. Bless their hearts. And the media know that that's the way the public operates now, and they count on it, and they feed on it. And of course, the Harris campaign is doing the exact same thing because they will do anything to get votes. And the deep state machine and the current regime will do anything to try and keep Trump out of the White House. Meanwhile, the AP is the only historically left-ish, whatever, leaning outlet that I've seen with the full explanation right there in the first paragraph. Though, of course, the second paragraph still talks about his violent rhetoric, blah, 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 because he talks about enemies from within. And I mean, I can see why he would warn about that. He's been systematically attacked by the deep state, media, and both Obama and Biden administrations for years. The FBI was weaponized against him, and dude survived 2 assassination attempts, with at least one of those attempts looking very suspicious as to whether or not there was some purposeful mishandling. And I know so many different Americans who have been saying for years, even before 2020, that your vote doesn't really count and the government is corrupt and they do this and they do that and they shot Kennedy. Well, I would argue that all of those statements endorse the belief or idea that there are enemies within. It's also not a far stretch when we're hearing about all these politicians lately that have ties to the Communist Party of China. We just got another report of another FBI whistleblower that said there was yet another attempt to infiltrate the 2016 Trump campaign with honeypots, trying to entrap Trump and fish out information they could use against him. Is that not an enemy within? Anyways, I would like to say that this will all be over next Tuesday, but we know it won't. No matter what the result, this is not going to be over. So that is it for today's video and our little watchdogging on the media there. You guys know the drill for all of the algorithm things. And as always, folks, thanks for tuning in. Stay safe out there and happy shooting.